was the early hours of November 17, just another day at the office for many, but not for OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT. This company was witnessing a seismic shift. A beloved CEO was on his way out. The board was now reigning supreme, and the world of tech was left watching aghast. It was a coup like no other. But 5 days later, the same CEO was back in office. Sam Altman is leading OpenAI again. What about the board? Most of them are gone. It's a script even Hollywood would die to write. A superstar CEO on one side, a disgruntled board on the other. Caught in the middle were 770 employees and the future of artificial intelligence. So why did OpenAI fire Sam Altman? Why is he back as CEO in just 5 days? What role did Microsoft have to play in all of this? And finally, what does this mean for the future of AI? Hello and welcome, I'm Palki Sharma, and on this show we read between the lines, the stated and the unstated, the obvious and the hidden, to bring you the full story. If you blinked and missed some update in the OpenAI drama, you're not alone. It was a fast-paced story with twists and turns that even ChatGPT could not have managed to write. But where did all of it begin and why? To understand that, we need to go back to 2015, the year OpenAI was founded. A group of tech titans came together, including the likes of Sam Altman. He was backed by tech billionaires like Elon Musk and Reid Hoffman. So together they set up OpenAI. But here's the catch. OpenAI was not set up as just any other tech company. It was set up as a non-profit. Why? Because their core mission was not to make money, it was to help humanity. Of course, all of this sounds great. It's good to be altruistic. But no business can function like this. You need money to sustain and grow, and OpenAI faced this problem too. When they hired people, they were paying them competitive salaries that matched any other technology company. But they were a non-profit, remember. So money was running out faster than it was coming in. That's when OpenAI devised a new plan. In 2019, they restructured themselves. They turned from non-profit to capped profit. This allowed them to create a subsidiary purely for profit. This subsidiary would raise money, and that money would help run the company. Sounds great, right? Except there's a catch here too. This profit was going to be governed by a non-profit board. And why is that? Because they wanted to stay true to their original purpose, their original goal, to make sure that AI was safe for humanity. Now, this board had 6 members, 3 OpenAI employees. There was, of course, Sam Altman, the founder, OpenAI chair, Greg Brockman, and chief scientist, Ilya Sutskever. And then there were 3 external directors, Quora CEO Adam D'Angelo, entrepreneur Tasha McCauley, and Helen Toner, a researcher and strategist. The board believed it served mankind and not OpenAI investors. So if they believed that the company was not serving its purpose, it could remove the CEO. Which brings us back to November 17th. That afternoon, Sam Altman was summoned by the board. They told him that they were firing him. It was a majority decision. 4 board members backed it. OpenAI's Ilya Sutskever and the 3 other external members. They said, and I quote, "The board no longer has confidence in his ability to continue leading OpenAI." So out went Sam Altman. And in his place, Meera Murati became the interim CEO. Now, no one still knows the real reason why Sam Altman was fired, but there are 3 major points of speculation. The first is his relationship with Helen Toner. A research paper by Toner raised questions about OpenAI's safety practices. Remember, she was a board member, and she was publicly questioning the company, so it did not go down too well with Sam Altman. Relations between Toner and Altman soured, and this could have led to his ouster. The second reason could be Q-Star, an advanced artificial intelligence system that OpenAI was working on, Q-Star. If you thought ChatGPT was revolutionary, Q-Star took it one step further. It could solve basic math problems. It was a step towards artificial general intelligence. I know it sounds complicated, but simply put, it's artificial intelligence that is more powerful than humans. Now, OpenAI staffers believe that this could threaten humanity. So some of them wrote a letter to the board. This could also be the reason for the firing of Sam Altman. And the third is Sam Altman himself. After ChatGPT, he became the face of AI for the world. He was jetting off to summits globally. He was shaking hands with world leaders. He was rubbing shoulders with the who's who of the world. He was also working on side projects, like the creation of an AI device with former Apple chief designer John Ive. Now, all of this seemed to have irked the board. Altman was becoming bigger than the company itself. And for the board, that was not a good sign. Which brings us to how it happened. The three external members were already on the same page. They wanted Altman out. They needed one more in their ranks. So they convinced Ilya Sutskever. Reports suggest Ilya was a little alarmed. He heard about the threats to humanity. He wanted to err on the side of caution. So he joined hands with the other three. And together they fired Sam Altman. They thought that would be the end of their problems. But little did they know that it was just the beginning. The ouster sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. OpenAI's biggest investor, Microsoft, was taken aback. They've invested up to $13 billion in OpenAI, so of course they were alarmed. They wanted Sam Altman back, and reports suggest they even pushed for it. But the board remained adamant, so Microsoft relented. On November 20th, the OpenAI board appointed Emmett Shear as CEO. He was the co-founder of video streaming platform Twitch. Now, Shear's ideologies aligned more with the board. He thought AI was moving too fast. He wanted to slow development by 10 to 20%. So the board thought he was the perfect choice. But Microsoft had other plans. Minutes after Shear was announced as CEO, Microsoft dealt them a reverse Uno card. Their CEO is Satya Nadella. He said Sam Altman and their OpenAI staff were joining Microsoft. They would lead an advanced AI research team at Microsoft. Now, it was a plot twist that the OpenAI board did not anticipate. The announcement set off a rebellion. Sam Altman was a popular figure in OpenAI. The board may not have liked him, but his employees loved him. Dozens started putting in their papers. They were going to follow their beloved boss to Microsoft. They also started tweeting. Not very much, just one line. OpenAI is nothing without its people. That's what they said. So clearly, the public sentiment had shifted. The OpenAI board was now enemy number one. The rebellion got to Ilya Sutskever. He saw what was happening and he jumped sides. He said he deeply regretted his decision. And he too was now against the board. By 20th evening, almost all of OpenAI's 770 employees wrote a letter. They threatened to quit if the board did not resign. So the board was left with little choice. The pressure was mounting. They could either stand firm and risk losing 700 employees, or they could cave and bring back Sam Altman. We know the decision they took. On 22nd November, OpenAI sent out a tweet. It confirmed that Sam Altman was back as CEO. The board itself was restructured. Only one member from the original board was kept. That's Quora CEO D'Angelo. New members were also added, the likes of Brett Taylor, the former co-CEO of Salesforce, and Larry Summers, the former US Treasury Secretary. So the rebellion was over. Sam Altman was back. There was a new board, and all seemed well at OpenAI again. But was this a loss for the board, or was it a loss for humanity? You see, the AI community is divided into two groups. There are the optimists, the likes of Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. They believe AI should move fast and that artificial intelligence must be developed at rocket speed. Then there are the doomers. They're wary of fast advancements in AI. They believe it could threaten humanity. They want guardrails in place before artificial intelligence moves forward. Now, this OpenAI saga was a battle between these two groups, between the optimists and the doomers. Of course, the stakes were sky high, and that meant huge egos were also at play. But the battle has exposed the fault lines. The power of AI is concentrated in the hands of very few people, and they can decide what its future will look like. I know it sounds alarming, and it is. Remember the 2000s? The birth of Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg was what many would call an accelerationist. He wanted to move fast and break things, and he did break them. He also broke society in that process. Social media is still reeling from the lack of checks and balances in the initial stages. And now we see history repeating itself. Artificial intelligence is moving fast. And with the Sam Altman saga, you can say the optimists are winning here too. In 2022, $189 billion was invested in AI. So even if OpenAI chooses caution, someone else will take its place. It's a highly competitive market. And it's a race against time to develop the best AI tool, but the world cannot afford the same mistakes that it did with social media. The rise of artificial intelligence must be transparent. There should be more caution, more quality control. There must be guardrails in place before it's too late. Safety of humankind must be priority number one.